Basically, everyone I see is rocking the wrong build, so for today I have for you the new top 5 meta AR loadouts that you should be rocking right now. With the first gun being the GPR, an honorable mention on this list. So this gun doesn't kill that fast, it's actually one of the worst ARs in the game, but if you use it at long range, it's one of the best ARs. It has a very fast TTK if you use it at those like 50-60 meter gunfights, which is why it's more popular in Warzone than multiplayer. But I did want to shine some light onto the gun because it does really shine, and it's super easy to use and definitely a very good gun to be using in rank play. So I will be giving you guys a 5 attachment and an 8 attachment build. Keep in mind the 8 attachments typically for Warzone because I don't think you need 8 attachments for multiplayer, but if you want to make the weapon extra overpowered, you guys can, use the 8 attachment in multiplayer. So for the optic, we are going to be using the Prisma Tech Reflex. This is a very underrated optic. I don't really see that many people rocking it. One of my personal favorites. Typically you see me use the Kepler, but I want to show off the Prisma. Give that one a go. For the muzzle, if you are playing rank play, obviously add the compensator, but if you're outside of rank play, because this gun really doesn't have any recoil, we can take advantage of the suppressor, allowing us to be off the radar and be a little bit more stealthy, making it easy to streak up. Next up, we are going to be going over and adding a barrel. The barrel I recommend is going to be the reinforced barrel. This just can increase that damage range and the bolt velocity. The bolt velocity on this gun really isn't that good. We look at the bolt velocity right now, it is going to be 730 meters per second. I usually like to bring it to at least like 750 or 800 because this gun is supposed to be used at long range. We're going to be increasing that bolt velocity to 876 meters per second. So then we'll have hit scan up to about 50 meters. Basically, wherever you're at on the map, the gun's going to be very responsive, and then the bullets are going to do a little bit more damage. Now we're just going to have less of a damage fall off, if that makes sense. For the underbarrel though, we are going to be adding the vertical foregrip. The range of foregrip did feel fine, but I noticed at very long range, I would hit more shots with the vertical, and so I can be more consistent with this one, and I value consistency over most things. And then for the last attachment, this one's completely up to you guys. You could take off the rear grip, go over here, add the extended mag 1, could even add the long barrel, and then go and add the overpressured round, so then you have max range, max bolt velocity. For me though, I like to have the gun feeling a little bit snappier. If we take that off, let me just show you guys real quick that the gun isn't like the fastest on. Oh, I guess it actually does have a pretty fast ADS. I'm completely bugging. Maybe I'm just like a fiend for super fast guns, and so I guess in that case I would just add the extended mag 1, so you don't really have to worry about reloading. You can just send shots off. If you guys want a screenshot, here's my favorite 5 attachment GPR. Now for the 8 attachments, this is when you can make the weapon extra broken. So for the rear grip, I'm still going to be adding the quick draw grip. I don't have the ergonomic unlocked on this gun yet, but in a private match I was testing it out, and just in general, because you're playing a little bit slower, I don't really need to have an increase to my slide to fire speed, the dive to fire speed and stuff like that. The quick draw grip is a little bit more beneficial for me at long range. I can just snap onto people a little bit faster. But if you are playing aggressive, rock the ergonomic grip. If you're using this gun how it's intended, a little bit slower, use the quick draw grip. And then for the stock, we are going to be going over and adding the heavy stock. You don't see that many people rocking the heavy. This is a very underrated attachment as well. This basically makes it so if the enemies shoot at us and they hit their shots, our screen isn't going to shake that much, making it very easy to stay on target. And since this gun does kill a little bit slower, we need to hit all the shots, and this just makes it a little bit easier. We're not going to be adding a laser. I'm not really a fan of those. And then for the last attachment, we are going to be adding the overpressured rounds, but then I'm going to go over here and add the long barrel because we don't really need that much bolt velocity. So now for multiplayer, we have a great bolt velocity, a very good damage range. I know the effective damage range doesn't seem that good, but once you get to like 40 meters, that's when this gun really shines. And then if you are playing Warzone, just add the reinforced barrel with the overpressured rounds. A lot of the guns don't have enough bolt velocity for Warzone, and so that's why you always see me adding a lot of velocity. For the next build, this is going to be the KRIG C, one of, if not the most broken gun in the game. It has one of the fastest TTKs, as well as having no recoil, so then it's impossible to miss your shots, and you can just get that very consistent TTK. By the way, if you're stressing about camos or simply just don't have time for them, check out my long-term sponsor Guapsi. They will legitimately play in your account to hard unlock whatever you please. They can do the camos to the gun levels, and this goes for zombies, Warzone, and multiplayer. They don't use an unlock tool, and this doesn't break 2S, so there is no risk of being banned, and no one has before. So if you want to save your time and energy, go to the top link in my description and check out guapsi.com. For the optic, I'm going to be rocking the Kepler red dot. Keep in mind, I do change this all the time. I'm just trying to show you guys some unique optics so you guys can mix it up and take advantage of all these optics that not many people know about. Typically though, you will see me use the Kepler micro flex. Okay, it's gone, but it's the sneeze is right there. The Kepler is what you would see if you stop by my rank play streams, but the Kepler red dot is a very enjoyable one that you should definitely try out. Now the sneeze is gone. I just got edged so hard. Oh my god. So for the muzzle, if you can kill the enemies very quickly, like if you're very accurate and you usually can hit the first shots on the enemy, the ported will be better because it makes it easier to hit those shots. There's less recoil for the first like 10 shots. It compensator is better if you're always shooting out a lot of bullets. Like if you're playing Warzone, definitely rock the compensator on like every build. But a multiplayer, the ported is very enjoyable, and I've been just ripping people off headies across the map. And one reason for that is because I'm using the reinforced barrel. Given this gun already has a very good damage range, so you could actually take off the barrel and then add like a magazine. You could add the infiltrator stock on there. But since I'm typically using this thing in rank play, I'm going to be using the reinforced barrel just to maximize the bullet velocity. So no matter where I'm at on the map, I'm going to have that hit scan potential. Actually, I will have hit scan, and then our damage at the effective range is going to be 28 at 50.3 meters. The average gunfight you're in is about 35 meters. It is very rare that you're in a 50-meter gunfight. So basically what I'm saying is that no matter where you're at on the map, you're going to be able to absolutely delete the enemies. For the underbarrel, we are going to be using the vertical forward to ensure that we hit all those shots. With the 8 attachment build, you can do you can use the Ranger, and I'll show you guys how. But the vertical grip just gives you the most amount of horizontal recoil control. We get a 35% increase, and so the muzzle's eliminating all that vertical. This is eliminating that horizontal. We got the range, and we got that nice sight. For the rear grip, because you can play very aggressive with this gun since it has a pretty fast TTK, we are going to be using the ergonomic grip, increasing that slide to fire speed. So when we do slide and we want to fire the gun, there's not really a delay. Our dive to fire speed is increased. Don't really dive into gunfights. You're just going to die anyway, so that doesn't matter. And then the gun will feel a little bit snappier. And so this is probably my favorite AR in the game, my 5 attachment build, and it's probably going to get nerfed very soon, or at least taken out of rank play. So if you want to run the 8 attachments, I do recommend changing the underbarrel for the Ranger foregrip. It's going to allow you to sprint around the map a little bit faster. It's going to increase the sprint to movement speed by 7%, and then our tactical sprint speed, I believe it's like 4 or 5%. So you will feel a lot lighter, and then and you still get some horizontal recoil control in there. For the magazine, we are going to be using the extended mag 1, and then for the stock, I recommend you guys use the infiltrator stock. This is going to make it so you can strafe very fast, making yourself a harder target to hit. This is definitely a very underrated stock that I explain in a lot of my videos since it's one of my favorite attachments. It just makes you feel so smooth, even a little like too smooth and fast, where you really got to get used to it. But if you always strafe in your gunfights, you're going to be a harder target to hit, and you're going to get more aim assist on the enemy. For the fire mods, we are going to be using the recoil springs. Yes, the rapid fire is very nice, and you can use the rapid fire on the smaller maps since you will kill the enemies 12% faster. We get a massive boost to that, so definitely try that out. For me though, I was looking for more consistency around every range, and I have a lot more fun with the recoil springs, and then which actually allows you to rock a suppressor. So now we can move around the map faster. We're going to be off the radar while still having a lot of recoil control. Bada beam, bada boom. There we go. Remember, if you want more control, you can add the ported, or you can swap out the Ranger back over to the vertical. This is going to be my favorite 8 attachment KRIG C. And then now for the next. Oh, and if you are playing Warzone, literally for every single build, just add the overpressured rounds, vertical underbarrel, and then the compensator muzzle. That's based in the reinforced barrel with a nice optic and a magazine. That's typically what you want to do for all the Warzone builds. Now for this next gun, this is going to be the Model L, one of my favorite guns as well, and a very broken gun, very fast TTK, 3-shot kill from very far distance. And that's the STG blueprint that I believe you get that after like Prestige 2. And so definitely use that variant with the iron sights. It makes them a lot more clean. Again, for the same reasons, we have the ported compensator on there, making it so our initial shots are a little bit more on target. If you want to use it at longer range, use compensator. And if you can control the gun and you want to be off the radar, rock the suppressor. For the barrel, again, we have the reinforced barrel. Our effective damage range without it is going to be about 40 meters. And so the reinforced is just going to make it so no matter where we're at, we're going to get that hit skin, and we're going to get that fastest TTK. For the underbarrel, we are going to be using the vertical foregrip. Since this gun is pretty bouncy, you can't really get away with the Ranger foregrip. That's why I'm not going to be rocking a suppressor. It's just a little bit tougher to use, and the ADS speed does feel a little bit slower on the gun, so we got the quick draw grip. Ergonomic grip, still a great option, but a lot of time I like to like snap onto targets. Like if I know someone's right about to come out of a doorway, I'll kind of do this a little bit, and I swear it just keeps me more ready for the gunfight, and I have a better reaction time. So the quick draw grip allows me to do that a little bit faster. And then also if I see 2 targets, I'm not gonna like drag over like that. That's the way that you should be doing it. And so the quick draw grip makes it a little bit easier to do that. But again, ergonomic grip is very, very helpful. And this is why we're rocking a barrel, why the damage range isn't that good. We have the rapid fire in here. Since the gun does fire slower, it's going to be very detrimental if you miss any shots. So then the rapid fire makes the gun a little bit more forgiving, and we can kill the enemies about 9% faster. But we are losing both velocity and our range and our recoil control, which is why we got the vertical, the ported, and the reinforced. Although you could take off that rapid fire and then like just add a stock, the infiltrator stock, take off the barrel, add a magazine. That's another very good build. There's a lot of good builds for this gun. For the 8 attachments though, we are going to be adding the extended mag on there. For the stock for this one, honestly, I think we're going to go with the light stock just so we can move around a little bit faster. All the stocks are good. You can really run whichever one you want. Don't think about it too much. But the light stock on this does feel pretty good because just our hip fire movement speed, and we can just be a harder target to hit up close. Since this gun isn't the most forgiving up close, this is going to make it a little bit easier to win those up and close gunfights. And then no laser, and then we're going to go over to the optic, and let's just keep it classic and use the Acu spot reflex on this guy. This is going to be my favorite 8 attachment KRIG, no, not KRIG, Model L. Sorry, I'm tweaking. It's like 3:20 a.m. Next up, this is going to be the AK-47, one of the fastest killing guns in the game. I think the KRIG C kills a little bit faster, or the AS VAL like up close kills faster, but this gun kills very, very fast. The only downside is that there's a little bit of recoil, but with this build where we are reducing that recoil a lot. I was going to give you guys a rapid fire build, but it was just a little bit it wasn't that consistent. It was a little tough to use. So again, we got that ported compensator on there. If you're playing Warzone, use the compensator. For the optic, I like the Volhiski reflex, however the hell you say that. This optic's pretty cool. There's basically every optic in this game is super sick, like that Merlin Mini. This one, very underrated. Definitely try it out. It's good for us to branch out. This gun is very, very good at range, and it doesn't have that much damage range. If we take off that barrel, it's 38 meters. So this thing shines at range, and just its base damage range isn't that good. So now we can really make it shine at range by adding the reinforced barrel, increasing that ball velocity, bringing it up to 870 meters per second. And then with that vertical foregrip, we are going to get a 15% for the recoil gun kick, 30% for the horizontal, and 15% for the vertical. Overall, eliminating a lot of that bounce. And I guess those stats did come in tied with the muzzle on there. So now we got a lot more range, and then we have a lot of recoil control and a pretty good optic. The iron sights honestly aren't that bad. You could take off the optic, add a magazine. Since the gun fires a little bit slower, I don't really think we need a magazine. What I wish that they would do is maybe increase the base mag size of every gun by like 10, and then make it so our fast mag, I guess this one actually, well, basically make it so the fast mag reloads the gun a little bit faster. For the last attachment, we are going to be adding the quick draw grip for the same reasons that I was saying about that Model L. Again, if you are playing aggressive, you're sliding into your gunfights, you're just, using this thing like an SMG, then use the ergonomic grip, or you just want to be overall more versatile. Since the ADS speed's already pretty good, I just like to make it very snappy with that quick draw grip. Here's going to be my favorite 5 attachment AK-74 build. I always say AK-47. They should have just added the AK-47 because that's just better for everyone's brain. So for the magazine, if you're playing Warzone, obviously add the extended mag 1 or the extended mag 2, but the fast mag for multiplayer is actually pretty nice. Like I was saying, you don't really blow through ammo too fast with this gun, and this is going to allow you to reload a little bit faster. You can reload 11% faster, and if your gun's completely empty, the gun actually reloads slower, but now with the fast mag, it's going to reload 13% faster. And then yeah, so that's just gonna make it feel, you can play more aggressive. For the stock, we are going to be using the infiltrator stock just to make ourselves a harder target to hit. This one, pretty enjoyable. Another one that I almost added on here was the balance stock. It's just like hard to not get a maximum strafing speed with the infiltrator. And before I get comments of people saying like, yo, this one doesn't give you strafe speed, it only gives you aim walking speed. The balance stock gives you strafing and aim walking. Well, these two things are actually the same thing. If you check out Exclusive Ace's video on the stocks, literally went over both of them. It's the same thing. This one just gives you astronomically more. Some stocks will give you more hip fire strafe speed, some of them will give you more ADS strafe speed. I wish the devs, when they made this, would go a little bit more detailed in there because a lot of people are confused, but I guess that helps out me for the video. So for the last attachment, we are going to be adding the recoil springs. Again, if you're playing Warzone, just add the overpressured rounds, make it increase your hit scan potential. The recoil springs though are just going to make the gun a little bit more consistent at that longer range gunfight. You guys can see that the gun is still pretty bouncy even though we have the recoil springs, but it's not going to be as bouncy. Again, if you can control the gun, you can add the suppressor. If you guys want the screenshot for the AK-74 8 attachment build, there you guys go. And let me know in the comments your favorite gun. And if you do find this video helpful whatsoever, you should definitely leave a like and subscribe. And I upload things almost every single day based on this game. My life is on Call of Duty. That being said, the AS VAL gets a lot of unnecessary hate. This is one of the better guns in the game, just because it has a very fast up and close TTK. It's just not that good at like medium and long range. It has a pretty slow TTK, but if you can be in the enemy's face, which this loadout will allow you to be in their enemy's face, you can really shine with the gun. I think this is actually one of my favorite ARs because it just feels unique and just absolutely rips the enemies. There's not that much damage range. Like I was saying, you got to be pretty close, so to increase that, close, that fast TTK range, we are going to be adding the long barrel, which no matter the barrel that you add, the gun is going to stay suppressed. That's one reason why the AS VAL isn't that that good at like medium and long range is that it's already like very good. It has a built-in suppressor, so you don't really need to add that many attachments. For the next attachment, we are going to be adding the Ranger foregrip. You might not hit your shots at first, but I guarantee if you practice like 3-5 games with this, you will be beaming people across the map. And so this is just going to allow you to move up and close, get in that enemy's face a little bit faster, and just feel a whole lot lighter. This is going to increase the overall stats by our sprint to movement speed by 8%, and then that means our tactical sprint speed, I'm guessing it's going to be about 6% increase. I know it doesn't say it, but again, if you check out Exclusive Ace's video, great creator, one of the best ones, if not the best one in the whole scene for gun guides. You know, he went in depth and showed that actually does increase your tactical sprint speed. Now for the magazine, this gun, this is one area that I wish they would just, you know, increase the mag size. Mag size is 20. So yes, we're saving attachment by not having to add a muzzle, but then like we have to add a magazine. So it's I think the gun would be more used if we didn't have to add a magazine. The extended mag 3 is pretty fun, but for sure OD. I just use the extended mag 2 just so I have 40 rounds. The gun fires very fast, so you are going to be blowing through ammo, especially if you're using it like a submachine gun. And then for the grip, we are going to be using the ergonomic grip. Like I was saying, you're playing aggressive, you're sliding around, you're in the enemy's face. Ergonomic grip is going to allow you to do so. It cuts that slide to fire speed in half, and the ADS speed and sprint to fire speed still actually a little bit on the slower end, but there's not really much we can do about that. No stock for this one. We are just going to be adding the recoil springs again, so we can be a little bit more consistent. That's a huge thing. Always be consistent. The rapid fire is fun, but it already kills very fast in its range that's intended to be used, so I don't think that's really needed. This is going to be my favorite 5 attachment AS VAL build. Now for the 8 attachments, we are going to be going over to the stock, and I recommend the no stock just so you can have a very fast movement speed in the enemy's face. You can try out the balance stock if you want, but the no stock definitely feels very, very good with this gun. And then I like the gun with the iron sights, but if I were to add an optic, there's one that I really, not the Prisma Tech. It's going to be the Merlin Mini. This one's like a square optic, very underrated. I love this thing. Feels pretty good, honestly. Yeah, sometimes if you use this optic, you can see the front iron sights like a lot, and it looks really awkward. But this one, you don't really see the front iron sights, so I actually definitely recommend that optic for the 8 attachment build. There you guys go for the screenshot. Now for the last build on this entire list, the good old classic XM4. I was gonna give a different one, but I was like, I just made a new XM4 loadout that people gotta try. You got the iron sights, and the iron sights are really not that bad. Like, they're actually pretty enjoyable, especially if you have the black cell variant. Like, it just kind of glows and just makes them very bright. I will give you guys a variation if you do want to run an optic, but definitely try out the iron sight build. I think it's very fun. So there's not that much recoil in this gun. It's super easy to use. So we do have the suppressor on there. Obviously for ranked play, we are going to be using the ported compensator, but I like the suppressor. It makes it a little bit easier to streak up and get those tactical nukes. Really not that much range on the gun. There is no range whatsoever. So we have to add the long barrel. The reinforced barrel is good, but we don't really need 900 bullet velocity. The 750 is good enough up to like about 35-40 meters for the hit scan range. Basically, like in the older Call of Duties, right when you fire the gun, the bullet would hit the enemy. Like, there was no bullets flying, it was just like a laser. And so that's how this game is at certain ranges. And so now with the bullet velocity being at 750, we're gonna have the hit scan up to about 35 meters, which that's like the average gunfight. So if the gun is feeling a little bit unresponsive, like bad hit registration, add the reinforced barrel and that should fix that. For the magazine, we are going to be using the extended mag 1. That's just going to increase the overall ammo count. I'm playing pretty aggressive with this gun, but you could take that off to add an optic, but I feel like I'm always in a gunfight in this game to where I'm scared to blink. For the rear grip, we do have the quick draw grip, making the gun a little bit more snappy, although I'm kind of tempted to add the ergonomic grip. The other grips don't really matter, just stick with the ergonomic or the quick draw. For me on this build, I'm going to use the quick draw. Actually, you know what? Because I have the iron sights, let's do ergonomic. For the stock, we are going to be using the infiltrator stock, again, to increase that strafe speed, make yourself a harder target hit, and, you know, just make it so you get that rotational aim assist a little bit easier. This is one of my favorite XM4 loadouts. Remember, you can take off that magazine to add an optic, and if you want more control, add the ported. If you miss a lot of shots or you're playing Warzone, add the compensator on there. Now for the next, I just threw my mouse. For the 8 attachment build, obviously we are going to be adding optic. Let's add the Kepler. For the underbarrel, we are going to be doing the Ranger for it because there really isn't that much recoil on the weapon. For the fire mods, we are going to be adding the recoil springs just to make the gun, you know, just that much more consistent. And there's a couple other builds that you can do. You could even add like the rapid fire. The rapid fire is actually very enjoyable. I just would rather hit a little bit more shots. So this is my favorite 8 attachment build. And if you do rock the rapid fire, remember, you're going to want to switch that out for the reinforced so your bullet velocity isn't absolutely dog shit. And and then you'll probably have to take off that Ranger to then add the vertical, so then you get more recoil control, and you might even have to swap with the suppressor for the ported. Hopefully all that wasn't too confusing. Try to give you guys, you know, an actual good build, since there isn't in multiplayer anyways. There's not just one good build. Kind of depends on the map and the enemies that you're playing against in the mode, and there's a lot of of factors in there, and so this overall should be one of the best AR guides out there. And so again, if you did find it helpful, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and I hope you guys like the builds. Deuces.